Welcome back. In this 8th part of our 5-Minute Fundamentals mini-series on commercial deal structuring secrets, we're going to discuss a specific strategy that you can use to assume a commercial loan without pledging any of your credit. It's a technique that savvy investors have been doing for a while now. However, you can't apply this strategy until after you first qualified your deal and make sure it makes sense. If you have money partners waiting on the sidelines, then they will love this structure as they won't have to personally guarantee the loan, and some of the risk is actually structured away from them. I must warn you, this is a very powerful strategy, and there's a reason why this whiteboard is towards the end of this very series. After watching this, you'll be a dangerous assassin. Let that sink in for a moment. All right, now let's get to the whiteboard. Welcome back, video number 8 in our 9-video installment series here, Commercial Deal Structuring Secrets. Let me start out with a question. Have you ever had in your own residence or maybe some investment residential real estate a prepayment penalty? Well, in commercial real estate, those prepayment penalties are on steroids. Some of them are as much as 10 points, if you can believe it or not. And the reason for that is because the permanent lenders, not the bridge lenders, but the permanent lenders that have 20, 30-year terms on these loans that they underwrite, think about the skyscrapers, office complexes, they don't want anything paid off. They depend on that cash flow coming in. A lot of them are life companies. And a lot of those life companies use your insurance premiums to pay things such as a death benefit whenever a family member dies or a friend. It's exactly the reason why they count on that. And the last thing they want is for someone to prepay a loan off early. But in commercial real estate, if you know what you're doing and you have the intellectual capital, you can actually structure that to your advantage. So now we're going to talk about how to quietly assume tons of real estate using quiet assumptions of special purpose entities or SPEs. This is something that's been a crowd pleaser for years with our danger intermediaries, and they've been using it for years, and it's great. Here's how it goes down. Suggested uses. You want to find stabilized, cash flowing real estate. This is where somebody has something they're looking to get out, they're retiring, or in some cases, it's a partnership blow up, which usually means one partner wants out, the other one doesn't. Whatever it is, somehow you might have to raise a little bit of money just to come to the table, because here's why. If it has a CMBS loan underneath it, that means that that loan is assumable. All CMBS loans are assumable. CMBS loans are loans that are originated and then packaged and then sold off. And the people that buy them are usually trusts and hedge funds. So you could actually have one loan that is owned by 100 different entities, and it's serviced by one servicer. So it's very interesting how this whole dynamic works, and you can use that confusion to your advantage. So we're going to get into how this is structured in a moment. But really what you're looking for right here are the cash flow that from ownership. You're owning this, it's cash flow, it's coming in. It's great actually to put into your self-directed IRAs. It's a great way for you to amass an empire quietly using commercial real estate. Now, this isn't thinking like a bank, this is thinking more like an owner-operator. So you have to keep that in mind. But again, this is one of those sneaky strategies there. The style is moderately aggressive, and it is best with income-producing assets, the 4 food groups, retail, warehouse, office, multifamily, where they have a loan that has a duration on it for more than 10 years. That means the loan's not going to be coming due for at least 10 years because you want to have that cash flow coming in for a period of time. Think about it. That's very important here. So let's talk about how this is structured and how it's actually put to use. Let's get into the mechanics here. Every deal that you buy, every piece of commercial real estate that you see is held not by someone personally, but in the name of usually an LLC. We call it a special purpose entity. That's what we call a holding company that has the asset and it has a CMBS loan. Remember, this only works with assets that have CMBS loans because there's defeasance. Defeasance is a prepayment penalty on steroids, and that could actually cause a lot of problems. We get into that in the webinar, and we actually have a whole system that talks about debtor in possession financing and bankruptcy. However, right now I want to make sure that you're focused on how the mechanics work because that's where the money is. So what happens is you have a new buyer come in and they actually buy the shares or the beneficial interest in the existing holding company. So you have an LLC buying piece of another LLC. Now, the ownership of those LLCs are kept in file cabinets and they're not a public record. Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay, wonderful. This is a great way to do it because if you were to assume a loan, sometimes the bank would charge a 1% assumption fee, and then they want to qualify you and qualify your credit. If you or your partners don't have good credit, guess what? You're blown out of the water. This is how you do it if you have bad credit. This is perfect because you don't have to qualify. What happens is you have to give some money probably to the sellers. If there's equity there, they're going to want some walking away cash. You can raise that easily. You can find people to do that. If you're able to communicate these deals, you can structure that around. If it's something very interesting and there's a lot of equity and you're getting it at a good basis, you might want to talk to us about that. So the sellers get a little bit of money, and what happens is that the management company is formed that manages this asset back and forth here so that there's an additional layer of protection between the beneficiaries and the holding company. This works day in and day out. You just got to make sure that you have the right assets and you're buying at the right basis. You don't want to buy anything that's upside down because that's going to cause a lot of problems, and you want to make sure that you do the math first. You qualify these deals just like you would any other deal using the 5 data points. So I want to make sure you understand that these deals are out there and they're ripe and they're ready for the 80% of the loans that were originated between 2004 and 2008 were CMBS loans. So the world is yours if you really want to endure and go in and continue to use this strategy to continue to build an empire for yourself. I want to thank you again for watching this. We have one more strategy left. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching this.